Night on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, they thought the nightmare was over. But it actually has just begun. Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasance in Halloween 2.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! Nightmare Baby Circus. Anyways, tonight's episode number 4, coming off of last night's crazy, messed up, most likely drug-inspired, fueled madness that was House. Yep. I thought, you know what? I am going to review a movie that is a sequel to an all-time classic that, for some reason or another, the people decided to erase from history by making another sequel, and it kind of had mixed results in my mind. Anyways, the movie I am talking about is Halloween 2, another 80s slasher movie. Or was this like 70 something? Anyway, what I believe is the true sequel, and I am going to actually review Halloween, also the 2018 version, so that we can have a nice compare and contrast of styles. But Halloween 2, more of the night he came back, and by he I mean the wonderful, the awesome Michael Myers. So, Halloween 2, what is it about? Well, it is basically right immediately after the events of Halloween 1. You kind of get a little brief replay of the end, and then it just takes right off. Mr. Michael Myers has been shot several times by Dr. Loomis and fell off the balcony and then walked away. And, look outside and he's gone. And so, of course, everyone's still looking for Michael Myers. And, of course, he finds himself a knife and gets to the stabby. However, Jamie Lee Curtis's character is taken to a hospital, one of the most understaffed hospitals in the history of understaffed hospitals. Oh my god, it is super understaffed, like 7 people in the whole damn hospital. Anyways, so while she's there, Michael Myers figures out by hearing people, because apparently he is a monster with no humanity, but he does have listening and reading comprehension skills, finds out that she is at the hospital and decides, you know what, it's time for me to get my walking shoes on and go say hi to my girl. And, of course, the doctor and the police are looking all over the place with false leads here and angry mob at the Myers house there, and it is a bit of a mess. But back at the hospital, you got some things going on. Michael Myers is doing some strange noises. People go to investigate, and then they get, the murdered. And, of course, the Jamie Lee Curtis's character, she realizes that Mike Myers is around and trying to kill her again, and so she's trying to escape, all the whilst the Dr. Loomis is trying to figure out what's going on, sees a trail of things and break-ins by Michael Myers with some story that is kind of a spoiler, I guess, if you don't know much about the whole Michael Myers lore or anything. But suffice it to say, things are revealed, reasons why he's going after Laurie Strug, Jamie Lee Curtis's character. Why is he going after her? All that stuff kind of gets revealed, and of course we get people get murdered at the meantime. All still within the same Halloween night. So let's get to the score, shall we? violence and gore, I am giving it a 3 out of 5. It has definitely a higher kill count and a bit more brutality, I believe, and a fair share of bloody moments and some nice gore effects, some burnt up body, some scalding skin, and a really neat flaming person. I guess you got double flaming people, but anyways, so yes, I think definitely a step up from the original, not necessarily as high as the new sequel, but anyways, 3 out of 5. Shock value, I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5. There are some neat little jump scares in this movie, and also some classic Michael Myers sneak up behind you, light comes in and the mask fades into the background. Great atmospheric moments in there. However, they are pretty few and far between though, and therefore I can't give it anything higher. None of the kills are super creative. Okay, we haven't gotten to that point in the slasher universe yet where we get a little bit more over the top. But however, it's a pretty average amount of shocks in this movie. 2.5 out of 5. Plot, I am going to give a 2.5 out of 5 because it is really basic. It's basically Michael Myers escapes, finds a weapon, kills some people, realizes that the target of his murderous rampage, Laurie Strode, is at a hospital. He goes to the hospital. The police are unaware of what's going on. Some things are revealed from sealed files, and everyone ends up at the hospital for a final showdown with Michael Myers. And a tidy ending. There is a pretty tidy ending there. So, anyways, but pretty much just basic. Nothing too I would say original. It feels very plain, and it is pretty plain. So 2.5 out of 5. Acting, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. Donald Pleasance has a very uneven performance. He is either really cool cat, oh man, I have been trick-or-treated to death. Sir, you don't know what death is. And then you have, I shot him 6 times, I shot him in the heart, I shot him. I shot him 6 times. 6 times I shot him. Did I mention that I shot him 6 times? Shot him 6 times. 6 times. I shot him right in the heart. Yeah, it's that. It's either really cool or you've gone kind of mad, mister. Donald Pleasance, you were really good, and then you kind of lost it, and then you got back to good, and then you lost it again. So, a very uneven acting performances. Jamie Lee Curtis, I think, was fine. So, I'm just going to give it a 3 out of 5. Moving on to Nudity, 1 out of 5. We have I guess you would call it a hot tub scene, a therapy scene, with a nurse who is pretty well endowed, and, but nothing much more outside of that. So 1 out of 5. And moving on to enjoyment factor, 3.5 out of 5. There's just something warm and cozy and nostalgic and safe and familiar about Michael Myers just dispatching people. And sure, it is not as great as the original Halloween. Halloween is a classic for a reason. It definitely builds a lot more tension and unease. However, there's still a fair amount of tension and unease in this movie. But yes, definitely a bit more fun, if you call body count fun, in this film. And it's enjoyable, and I like it. And even though it's pretty simplistic and basic, perhaps sometimes when you have too much stuff going on, like batshit crazy Asian horror movies, sometimes it's nice to get back to something that's a bit more straightforward and simple. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you don't need everything to be super convoluted and serious and up its own ass. So, you know what? It's definitely a breath of fresh air. And I think it does the story justice because it takes place right after the ending. You don't really have any weird questions about what went on between 1 and 2. And it finishes it off. It gives you closure. And the end of Michael Myers until they realize that Halloween 3 was a huge mistake with the fans, and they have to figure out a way to resurrect him for a couple more movies. A couple. Anyways, so 3.5 out of 5. My overall impression, though, is 2.5 out of 5. Just like Happy Birthday to Me, it is a very straightforward, standard, by-the-numbers horror movie that doesn't really have anything super special going for it, except that it is a sequel to Halloween. And still, I think it's still strong enough and enjoyable, and actually hits all the 80s movie slasher movie requirements, even though, I don't know, is this 1979? I gotta look that up again. Anyways, you got violence, you got a killer, you got stabby, you got women in various undress, and yeah. What can I say? That all averages out to a 2.6 out of 5. So Halloween 2, tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you think you like it, even though it's pretty standard and pretty basic? Or am I wrong? Am I missing its awesome nuances? Or am I wrong that it's just bad, horribly bad, and needed to be retconned out of existence by the new Halloween movie? I don't know. You tell me. Leave a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will watch the new Halloween movie, and I will give a review shortly so that I may tell you how it compares and whether or not it deserves to be the new sequel. I mean, it's gonna be the new, it is, or whether or not Halloween 2 got the shaft and didn't deserve this horrible treatment. Anyways, so far I'm saying it didn't deserve this horrible treatment, but we'll save that for later. So till next time, Internet, you guys stay scary, and thanks again for watching another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, and I will see you next time with another movie review. And in the meantime, learn how to use a walkie-talkie. That shit can be important, especially if you need to communicate with the guard that's going out to investigate the strange noise and eventually get killed, so that you know that he's getting killed, and that you can go, you know what? The guard guy's dead. I am going to try to contact someone who might not allow us to be all stabbed to death by a masked madman. I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. Okay, well, anyways, see ya.